And you'd have this experience and you'd feel great. And then, after 2 or 3 weeks, I began to go downhill, and then some of the old bad feelings would start coming up. So, okay, so what? It's very easy. Just have another experience. So I did that. And I have to say, I think the curve was always up, but it was a curve like this. It'd go up and then come back, not all the way back, and then go up. But after a while, I really got tired of that up and down stuff. And one day my inner voice said to me, you really have to put into action what you learn. You really have to do that. When you learn what you're doing wrong and you see the things you need to do, you've really got to do them. And it's hard, and it's a lot easier just to go have another experience. But I realized that it was important, and I put my mind to it, and then I found I could resolve it by giving it my full attention, and it felt so much better to do that. So then I felt that the appropriate way to use the substance is to reach a point where you're really ready for fresh new experience and fresh openings. Because I think we should make the most of each experience before we consider having another experience. And if we do that, the following experience, I think, will turn out a good deal better. One other thing, let me just add one more thing, because you asked me about yoga. But I had the good fortune to meet a very wonderful teacher of Tibetan Buddhism. And I found that having a good meditation practice was very, very helpful, because it really helped you stay on the ball of putting into effect what you learn. Plus, there are a lot of benefits from it on its own accord when you learn how to do it properly. So that's something that I very much recommend, and it's certainly been helpful to me personally to have that support. And I think eventually you learn how to open these doors more and more on your own, and it's very satisfying. And then again, when you are ready to have another experience, it's much more profound. Let's see.
You all are obviously a testament to, you're vibrant people who are very sharp, who are very on the ball. You're aging incredibly well. There are other people like, Timothy Leary and other people who took, large amounts of psychedelics and entheogens and things like that throughout their life, and they lived to ripe old ages. And beyond that, we also know through some research that there are wonderful therapeutic values to taking entheogens and psychedelics, and that's been proven. Yet, these are not legal, and we can't utilize them to open these doors and heal ourselves. I guess what I'm wondering is, particularly on the research side, what strides are currently being made, or where is research currently in looking into those things so we can validate them, and so that people can start using them in the ways that are so wonderful? Where is research right now?
I checked this out just before I left, because I thought this was an important issue to discuss. But you see, we went almost 30 years before the FDA would approve any research with psychedelics. There are now 3 projects that have been approved. One of them, well, the one that's the most underway is the one by MAPS, using MDMA for post-traumatic stress syndrome. They've already, it was a battle. It was approved over 2 years ago, but the DEA blocked all their efforts to get a what kind of board?
Research advisory board.
Well, no, it's a little.
It's a 3-letter job. IRB.
Yeah.
Super review board.
And every one they got, the DEA let it be known that if they wanted to be in that field, that they better drop this particular project. I tell you, it's mean. And I think they went through 3 different ones before finally they found someone who was willing to take the responsibility and do it. Then they had a big fight that dragged on and on. Where can you get MDMA? And they were supposed to go in and investigate and check out everything, and they took their time. But finally, it's done. And the DEA completed the actions that they needed to take. All the approvals have been made. There have now been 2 subjects that have undergone the MDMA. Well, you don't know whether it's the MDMA experience because it's a blind study. You're given either MDMA or a placebo. But anyhow, 2 people have already gone through it. Charlie Grobe is in charge of another project using psilocybin for cancer patients, dying cancer patients. And this was approved some time ago. Now the problem is you can't find anybody who's willing to volunteer and go through the experience because they've set such rigid rules for acceptance that it's difficult to find people. But we are spreading the word. Different people are putting on the internet. I think the first person is coming from the east. They're going to be flown out, and they'll be putting their first person through pretty soon. And then there's one more in Arizona, obsessive-compulsive, investigating how well psilocybin will work with that. And I don't know whether they've actually started as yet, but at least that is another approved project. And all these things, I think, are hopeful. They move slowly. It's taking a long time to get started. But once the results begin to come in, and I feel pretty positive about it, good people are doing this work, and once the results start to come in, I think the value is going to be exposed, and sometime in the future, people are going to wake up and we're going to be allowed to do